Let me tell you something most men don't realize, and it's costing them connection, attraction, and depth asterisk asterisk, presence asterisk asterisk. Not charm, not money, not looks, presence, real, undivided attention. It's rare, it's powerful. And when you offer it, fully and genuinely asterisk, she will feel it asterisk. More than that, she'll remember it, because almost no one gives it anymore. Most people are waiting for their turn to talk. They're distracted. Their minds are darting like fish in shallow water, thinking about the next thing, trying to impress, trying to be witty, trying to win. But presence is different. Presence says, asterisk, I see you, I hear you, right now you matter, asterisk, and that, more than any pickup line, any gesture, or any story you could tell will leave a mark that lingers. When you're truly present with someone, you're not just exchanging words, you're creating resonance. Your eyes are locked in, not in a creepy, forced way, but in a grounded, calm way. You're listening not just to the words she's saying, but to the feeling underneath them. You're not rushing to respond, you're letting her be. You're giving her space to unfold. You'd be amazed how few men know how to do that. It's not about staring or nodding excessively. It's subtle. It's you anchoring yourself in the moment, in your breath, in your body, and deciding, asterisk, I'm here. Asterisk, you're not checking your phone. You're not scanning the room. You're not planning your next clever line. You're rooted, you're curious, you're engaged, and women feel that deeply because so many interactions are shallow. So many people are chasing validation or playing roles. When you drop all that, when you meet her as a person rather than a prize to win or a puzzle to solve, it disarms her. It draws her in, and that's not something she forgets when the night ends. It echoes. Because presence touches something primal, it tells her you are a man who can hold space, not just for her words, but for her being, and that speaks volumes. Sometimes she won't even know why she's thinking about you later. She won't be able to explain it. She might say, there was just something about him, and that something is presence. It's a form of strength that doesn't need to shout. It's quiet, but it's unmistakable. Let me give you something practical here. Next time you're with a woman you're interested in, do this. When she speaks, slow your breathing. Actually notice the way she's putting her words together. Hear the asterisk meaning asterisk behind what she's saying. Reflect it back in your response, not by parroting her, but by answering what she asterisk meant asterisk, not just what she said. That level of attention, it's intoxicating. Don't rush to fill silence either. Let it be. Let the space breathe. That space is where intimacy lives. Most men are so uncomfortable with silence that they run from it. But you should sit in it, own it, because when you do, she feels something rare. A man who doesn't need to scramble, who doesn't need to perform, who can just asterisk be asterisk. That kind of presence is magnetic. It's not something you manufacture in the moment. It's something you cultivate in yourself long before you walk into the room. And when you bring that into an interaction, you don't need tricks. You don't need lines. You become unforgettable, not because of what you did, but because of how you made her asterisk feel asterisk in your presence. She'll think about that. She'll think about asterisk, you asterisk. Now, let's get something clear. If you want to be really remembered, you have to stop saying what every other man says. You have to stop tossing out generic compliments like they're confetti and expecting them to land with any kind of real weight. You're beautiful, you look amazing tonight, nice smile, these things, they bounce off. They're so overused they lose all meaning. They're static, and what we're aiming for is resonance. You want to say something that asterisk lands asterisk. Something that roots itself in her mind quietly and keeps playing long after you're gone. The key is specificity, the ability to notice what most people miss and speak to it clearly and sincerely. That means actually paying attention. Not to her appearance in the broad, obvious way, but to the details. Maybe it's the way she pauses before answering a question, how she fiddles with her ring when she's unsure, or the way her voice shifts when she talks about something she loves. It might be the quiet strength in how she carries herself, the sharpness of her wit, or how her eyes light up when she talks about her younger brother. These things, they're not loud, they're not designed to draw attention. But they're deeply personal, And when you see them, really see them, and then asterisk name asterisk them, it sends a shockwave, because what it says is, asterisk, you're not just looking, you're seeing. Asterisk, and there is a world of difference between the two. When you tell her, I noticed how calm you stayed when everyone else was getting stressed earlier. That was impressive. Or the way you described that book. It's like you actually lived in it. That's different. That's not just attention, it's discernment. It shows depth on your part. It shows that you're not scanning the surface, you're reaching into the experience of her, and that, again, is rare. Rare things are remembered. Here's the beauty of it. It doesn't have to be romantic. It doesn't even have to be flirtatious. It just has to be asterisk, true asterisk. But it has to be specific. Vagueness is forgettable. Precision, that's what lodges in the mind. And it's not about praise for praise's sake, either. That's manipulation. This isn't about trying to win her over with cleverly constructed compliments. It's about being the kind of man who notices truth and speaks it, who sees what others miss because he's grounded enough to slow down and actually observe. Think about this for a second. How many times has she walked through the world without anyone really asterisk seeing asterisk her? She's gotten the looks. She's gotten the attention, but how many people have looked past the surface and pointed out something that made her pause and think asterisk? Wow, no one's ever said that to me before. Asterisk, that moment of surprise, that's where the impact happens. It plants a seed, because now she's not just thinking about what you said. She's thinking about how you saw her, and that reflection, that mirror you held up, if done with integrity and clarity, becomes something she replays. Because it wasn't about you trying to impress her. It was about you being real, being perceptive, and being brave enough to say something that mattered. And I'll tell you this, when she's lying in bed later, eyes on the ceiling, running the day back in her mind, it's that one sharply tuned comment that'll come back. That single sentence that felt like you were speaking asterisk to her asterisk, not just asterisk at her asterisk. That's how you stay on her mind. If you want to live in someone's mind after the night is over, you can't just exist in the flow of polite conversation. You have to create something shared, a moment, a spark, a thread that ties the two of you together in a way that feels private. Even if it lasted only a few seconds, that's what makes the difference. Not the words themselves, but the connection they created. Most men stay on the surface. They talk about where she's from, what she does, how her day was. That's fine. It's functional, but functional doesn't linger. You need something that lives outside of function. A moment that feels like it couldn't have happened with anyone else. That's where intimacy begins. Not necessarily physical intimacy, but emotional and psychological resonance. What creates that kind of moment? Vulnerability, humor, challenge, shared perspective, when you reveal something honest, something just slightly beneath the surface. You give her permission to meet you there, and when she does, even briefly, now you're not just two people talking. You're two people asterisk sharing asterisk, and that changes everything. Sometimes it's as simple as a playful challenge, not one-upmanship, not arrogance asterisk, play asterisk. You say something unexpected, maybe tease her lightly about something she said, but with warmth, with precision. She responds, you volley back. Now there's energy, rhythm, it's alive. It's not a script anymore, it's something organic between you. Other times, it's the moment you choose to go a layer deeper. Everyone asks about work. But few people ask how she asterisk feels asterisk about it. Not the rehearsed answer, the real one. Few people catch the flicker in her eyes when she talks about something she used to love but doesn't anymore. You notice that. You mention it gently, not to pry, but to connect. And now she feels seen in a way that's uncommon. You don't need grand gestures. What matters is authenticity. The kind of authenticity that says, I'm not here to play a role. I'm here to meet asterisk you asterisk. The real you if you're willing. That's not something most people encounter, and when they do, it leaves an imprint. Even something small, a running joke you create together, something spontaneous you both laugh at, can become your thing. It's yours because it emerged from asterisk that asterisk moment, with asterisk that asterisk energy. You gave her an emotional reference point, and that reference point will come back to her when she thinks about you. The point is, you're not just passing time, you're building something, even if it only lasts an hour. If you do it right, it doesn't feel like performance. It feels like discovery, and discovery is addictive. When you walk away and she's still replaying that one line, that one glance, that laugh that caught her off guard, she's not thinking about what you said. She's feeling the asterisk experience asterisk of being with you. That's what lingers. People don't remember everything that was said, but they remember how they felt. You can't fake that. You can't strategize your way into it. You have to show up. You have to actually care. You have to be willing to offer a piece of yourself. Not your best performance, but your honest presence. And when you do that, even for a few minutes, you build a small but powerful thread. And long after the night has ended, she'll still feel that thread tugging gently at the back of her mind. There's something powerful, almost unsettling, about mystery, not secrecy, not deception, but genuine, intentional restraint. Holding something back, not because you're afraid to share, but because you understand the value of pacing. Of letting someone asterisk want asterisk to know more. Most men give too much away too quickly. They unload their stories, their opinions, their past, their ambitions, all in a rush to impress, and in doing so, they smother the most valuable force in attraction, curiosity. You see, when everything is on the table, when there's no edge, no question left unanswered, no layer left unrevealed, there's nothing to chase, there's no sense of unfolding. And what we're aiming for here, what keeps someone thinking about you long after the interaction is over, is the sense that there's still more to understand, more to feel, more to asterisk discover asterisk. This doesn't mean you play games. It doesn't mean you become vague or evasive. It means you become deliberate. You allow your story to come out in pieces, shaped by the moment, the energy, the connection. You don't need to share everything at once. In fact, you asterisk shouldn't asterisk. Let her find you in stages. You offer glimpses, hints, a story that leaves just enough unsaid that she leans in. That's the key. You want her to asterisk lean in asterisk, not just physically, but emotionally. People lean in when they're intrigued, when their mind starts to wander and wonder. What did he mean by that? Why did he stop right there? Where did that come from? That's the internal dialogue that keeps playing in her mind long after the lights go out. And that curiosity, that's what keeps you present in her imagination. You can say something like, "There's a whole story there, but I'll save it for another time." Not as a tactic, but because you asterisk mean asterisk it. Because not everything should be offered up in the first hour. Let the story of who you are unfold like a novel, not a pamphlet, create chapters, layers, let her want to keep reading. It's the difference between being consumed and being explored. When you reveal too much, too fast, the experience is consumed. It's finished. But when you let her asterisk explore asterisk, when you leave those small trails of wonder, she becomes engaged in the act of discovering you. That's what keeps the mind active. That's what lives in memory. Even the way you speak, your tone, your pacing, your pauses, can carry mystery. When you speak with intention, when you let silence do some of the talking, you create space for curiosity to bloom. You don't need to be cryptic or theatrical. You just need to be someone who values depth enough to not give it all away immediately. And remember, mystery isn't about making her guess what you think or how you feel. It's about allowing the experience of getting to know you to asterisk matter asterisk. You want her to feel that she's not just hearing information, but stepping into a world, asterisk your asterisk world, and that world has places she hasn't seen yet. So you don't walk in with all the lights turned on. You light one candle at a time, and each flicker reveals just a bit more, enough to see you, not enough to know you fully, not yet, because the truth is, people don't lie awake thinking about what they already have. They lie awake thinking about what they asterisk almost asterisk touched, what they just asterisk began asterisk to understand. There's a distinction that most men never quite grasp, and it's the difference between being admired and being desired. One is polite, the other is powerful. One is safe, the other, it pulls at something deeper, something raw and human and unforgettable. And if you want to be the kind of man a woman can't stop thinking about, you must learn how to move from admiration to desire without ever crossing the line into disrespect. Admiration is what you get when you're competent, well-mannered, kind, maybe even impressive. It's what most men settle for, and they wonder why it doesn't spark anything lasting. She might respect you, she might appreciate you, but that doesn't mean she asterisk feels asterisk you, because desire isn't born in logic. It isn't carefully measured or reasonable, it's instinctive, it's felt, and it's not something you ask for. It's something you asterisk awaken asterisk. Now, how do you do that? Not through words alone, not through scripted moves or over-the-top gestures. You do it through embodiment, through how you carry yourself, your presence, your tone, your stillness, your eyes. Desire speaks through energy, not explanation. It begins when you stop filtering yourself out of fear. Most men are so concerned with coming across the right way that they dull their own edge. They hesitate, they overthink, they hide behind a polite facade, and in doing that, they become invisible because desire doesn't arise from passivity. It arises from tension, from polarity, from the contrast between two energies that recognize each other and say, asterisk, there's something here. Asterisk, you have to be willing to show interest. Real, grounded, unapologetic interest. Not the needy kind, not the grasping kind, but the kind that says, asterisk, I see you and I'm drawn to you. Not in spite of who you are, but because of it. Asterisk, it's in the way you look at her, steady, clear, unrushed. It's in the way your body leans in, not too much, but just enough to say you're not afraid of closeness. It's in the way you listen like her words matter, while your silence says even more, and don't underestimate the power of touch. When it's appropriate, even the slightest touch on the shoulder, the lower back as you guide her through a doorway, and spark a visceral reaction. But it has to come from a place of calm, of groundedness. Not impulse, not strategy. Your energy has to say, asterisk, I know what I'm doing, and I know how to read a moment. Asterisk, that kind of discernment is what builds trust. And trust is what allows desire to flow freely. The truth is, desire lives in the unsaid, in the spaces between words. It's in the pause after a laugh, in the way your voice slows when you're saying something meaningful, in the eye contact that lasts just a second longer than usual. These things don't demand attention. They asterisk command asterisk it, and it's not about dominance. It's about decisiveness. When a man knows what he feels and isn't afraid to express it, even subtly, it sends a message, asterisk, I can handle intensity, I can hold this space, asterisk, and when a woman feels that, something stirs, something ancient. Something that can't be put into words, but can be remembered long after you've said good night. So don't settle for admiration. Let her feel your presence, your depth, and yes, your desire. Let it be quiet, but unmistakable. Because it's not the polite ones who stay on her mind. It's the ones who made her feel wanted without saying a word. There's one final thing, one that most men overlook, and it's perhaps the most powerful of all. You have to asterisk walk away right asterisk, not with bitterness, not with need, not with an apology in your posture, but with certainty, with a calm, quiet confidence that says, asterisk, you know your value, and you don't need anything from her to validate it. Asterisk, that's rare. That's striking, and that's what stays with her when the night ends. You see, the end of the interaction matters just as much as the beginning, maybe even more, because endings leave echoes. The final impression is the one that loops back when she's alone with her thoughts. And if you linger too long, if you try to stretch the moment because you're afraid to let it go, you weaken everything you've built. But when you leave with poise, when you know asterisk, exactly asterisk, when to walk away, not because you're disengaged, but because you respect the rhythm of the moment you plant something deeper, a kind of unresolved tension. An open loop, and people think about what's unresolved. What does that look like? It's simple. You don't over-explain. You don't ask for reassurance. You don't fish for compliments. You don't ask her what she thought of you. You give her space to feel it for herself, and more importantly, you trust that if you've shown up fully, present, perceptive, real, then that's enough. You don't chase the moment, you let it breathe. When you leave on your own terms, with clarity and grace, you shift something in her psychology, because so many men try to extend the encounter just to feel a little more important. They try to squeeze out one more laugh, one more compliment, one more sign of interest. And it's transparent, it's not strength, it's fear, but when you don't do that, when you know when to stop, you send a signal that's far more compelling. It says you're a man who can walk away without grasping. A man who enjoys the moment, but doesn't cling to it. That subtle withdrawal, that elegant exit, is what creates longing, not drama, not mystery for its own sake, but the sense that there's more to you, that the experience of being with you doesn't end when you walk away. It lingers because you weren't just a flash of charm or cleverness. You were substance, you were grounded, you were a presence that doesn't vanish just because you're no longer in the room. You can even say something simple, something clear and honest. This was great. I'm glad we talked. No begging, no overselling, just a clean close, and then you leave . You give her the gift of thinking about you without you being there to direct the narrative. That's the point. She fills in the silence. She revisits your words, your voice, your energy, and she does it on her own terms, in her own mind, and that's where the magic is, not in forcing your way in, but in being so distinct, so alive, so present in the time you did have, that you don't need to do anything else. You've already done enough. You've given her something to remember, not by overstaying, but by exiting with power. So don't ruin the ending with need. Leave her with presence, with dignity, with just enough space to wonder about you. Because it's not how long you stay, it's how you leave that makes her think about you all night.